It's 6:30. We will begin the meeting. I'll call the meeting to order. We will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, seeing how we have some guests here for a particular purpose, we will bypass the administrative report for now and get back to it later. Dr. Hammond, are you ready?
Yeah, well, I'm ready. We have a presentation tonight to the Selectmen on the new elementary school, and we have Phil Pinelli, and I'll let him introduce his team here. And then they're going to give you, this is the first time you've seen this here at your meeting on the proposed new school. So Phil?
Do you want to?
Well, thank you.
Tim?
Could you introduce?
Yes, I'm Tim Alex. I'm with Colliers International. We're the owner's project managers.
Okay.
And I'd just like to say thank you for letting us present tonight. It's been a long time since we've been before you. A couple months ago, we talked about getting the feasibility study into the MSBA for review and approval. Since that time that we've met, that has gone in. On August 6th, the MSBA, which is the Massachusetts School Building Authority Board, met and approved our project to go forward into schematic design. And there's been a lot of activities, and the design team will talk about some of those things that have led up to this point. But our next big milestone is to submit the schematic design to the MSBA for review and approval at the end of this month for their board meeting on November 18th. So with that, I'll let Phil.
If I could just say, we will have a combined meeting of the Selectmen, School Committee, and the Building Committee on September 28th. It will be at Narragansett in the auditorium because of all the different boards. And at that time, they will vote to submit to the MSBA. All three will have to vote, and I'm not clear what all the different votes they want, but all three of the major boards will vote, and then they send it in to them. So we're meeting on the 28th, just so you know when that should be on. Every board should post that as a meeting. Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I don't forget that.
So good evening. It's good to be back. Thank you for having us. I'm Phil Pinelli, principal in charge for Sims Manning McKee. Immediately to my left is Peter Glick, civil engineer with SMMA, and Christian Wissett from Jones Wissett Architects, our associated architects. So we're going to go through the site, the floor plans, the exterior imagery of the building and building systems, talk a little bit about all of the different parts of the building itself. So this is just a list of meetings leading up to today that have taken place basically in the last month. There were a lot more that predated that, but we've been before the school committee, the building committee, meeting with faculty at both TC and Baldwinville, and we have a whole list of other meetings that we have lined up. This is just a very brief history of the project, starting in 2007 when the MSBA invited Templeton. Templeton submitted the application to the MSBA and was accepted in by them. And a process of going through, of identifying properties. I'm not going to go through this in detail, but you'll have a copy of this. We'll have that posted tomorrow. But we've been going through, last year, went through a site investigation up on 202, which got withdrawn because of the high costs of site. And here we are today going through with the center site, and very excited about this. And so we've been through a feasibility study with the MSBA. We were approved through that. They were invited into schematic design. We are well along in schematic design and will be submitting late at the end of this month pending approval by the boards within the town, and going to a board vote with the MSBA later in the fall. And this was the letter received in August from the MSBA approving the project and moving it into the schematic design phase that we're currently in. So I think you know about the MSBA, who they are, and the process that they have everyone go through, which is a multi-step process. We see that it appears as though the MSBA is going to fund 62, almost 63% of what's called the eligible costs of the project. And so, just a reminder of why we're here. The two existing buildings, Center Elementary, wood frame, multiple issues that don't meet today's code, and very short of space, no gym, assembly or music rooms, undersized classrooms, and so on. And more photographs of what make up the existing building at Center School. Similarly, at Baldwinville, older school, 1925, also wood frame without fire protection, and again, numerous issues with the code that are grandfathered but don't meet today's standards, and again, short of program areas for gym, assembly, music, art, media, and again, undersized classrooms. Again, more photographs of the current school. A lot of remedial activities taking place with multiple sessions going on in a single room because there's no place else to do that kind of activity. So, Pete, if you can take us through the site plan organization of the school, of site.
My name is Peter Glick. I'm a civil engineer with Sims Maine McKee, and also I'd like to echo those sentiments. Thank you for seeing us tonight. A little bit about the site and about the building. The building right here, this white outline right here, it's about 93,000 square feet. There's many components to the school building, and I'll just go through enough for the context with the site. But the portion of the building over here, which is essentially the academic wing, if you will, that's a 3-story part of the building. This portion over here, where is the gymnasium and the back of house, if you will, where the mechanical rooms are, the kitchens are, and the cafeteria. This area in here is all 1-story. We went through many iterations with this plan, and it's evolved into this plan that you see today on the site. And it does address all the concerns that we had as we were designing it, and we've worked on the site very well. I'm going to flick back and forth to the circulation of first, because the way we entered the school, we're looking at trying to make it as flexible as possible for current conditions, and we met with the department heads, and the public safety department had concerns about the roadway going to one way at some point in time. So we put that flexibility into the design, and also tried to maintain the circulation, the internal circulation that's similar to what's happening today, where buses will come in down on Wellington Road, and they'll come into the site, they'll offload over here, they'll enter through a main entrance right here into the school, and then they'll leave the site and go down towards the center on South Road. This is right here is assuming that these roads are one-way. The drop-off could be accomplished on both sides. So on Wellington Road, people will come in, they'll come along to school, drop off. The pre-kindergarten and kindergarten wings are over here. And these are where these students will be, which they have a little more direction going into the school where the parents get out and walk them in. Where on this side right here in South Road, people can get off and drop the children, and then they'll enter the school over here. The parking, and I'll flip back now, the parking that was shown for teachers and visitors alike, we're showing a parking lot right over here, and also a parking lot at the rear of the police station property. The police station property has a property line just about like this. It's all town-owned property, you own it all, but we had plans and talked with the police department, and they've been kind enough to allow us to utilize this piece of the property here. And we also striped out some parking spaces in an area over here that'll be utilized by the police department. Essentially, anything from this point on up will be utilized by the police department, and this parking down here will be utilized by the school. We envision that parking being utilized by the staff. There'll still be access for the police department to come out onto Wellington Road on this side, as they do now, and also South Road through there. The parking area over here displaces the Glass Salem playground area, Memorial Playground area that's there. Well, what we did is we're replicating the playground right over here, which is right next to it, in kind. We're going to take all the play equipment that's in there, all the time capsules and everything that's in the ground, and it's going to be moved over to this location over here, and this will be a relocated Gladys Salem playground that'll be used by the community as well as the school. There's another play area down in this corner right here, which will generally service the school for the kindergarten and PK kids. It will have more equipment more suited for the smaller children, and those areas are there. This area right here will be a field area, a multi-purpose field area, if you will, for mini soccer games, or so the children can come out and use in recess. The loading area for bring supplies into the school is right in over here, and the trucks will come in, they'll turn up here, back in, drop off the supplies, and be able to pull back out and around. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about the site investigations that have gone on the site. We've done a lot of studies with geotechnical and surveys and water studies, and right now I just wanted to talk about the traffic a little bit. The traffic count, we looked at 6 intersections where traffic was counted, up along Dudley Road and South Road, Dudley and Wellington, and down at Wellington and South Road intersection, in the police station driveway and the school driveway. The traffic patterns, as I mentioned, will change so that Wellington Road, we're assuming it's going to be a one-way in the south direction, South Road one-way in the north direction. The circulation I discussed, the way the parents and buses would drop off. We're looking at having to do physical modifications to the road at South Road and Wellington Road, so that there's more of a T alignment. As you're probably aware, it comes in more of a skewed alignment right now, an acute angle, and that will come more of a T angle to make it a safer or easier turn for buses and cars to be able to take it that way. That'll all be done under the school project. School zone flashes will be both in South Road and Wellington Road. Right now you do have some up on South Road just past the site. And other than some clearing for the site distances, just vegetation clearing, it'll remain virtually as is. That generally covers the site. Thank you.
Thank you. Christian.
So Christian Whitsitt from Jones Whitsitt Architects. We're working with SMA on this project. I'm just going to go through the floor plans in a little bit of detail without going overboard on time. But as Peter mentioned, there'll be one main entrance here on the northeast side of the building. Let's see.
The top button's red.
Brighter. Perfect. Thank you. So one main secure entrance here on the northeast side with the administration front and center of the building, a secure window and door entry system at the front. A gym that's specifically been placed for after-hours community use so that the rest of the building can be sealed off, and that can become a community resource. It's large enough to fit a high school-sized basketball court, with not too much else, but at least large enough to fit that. Cafeteria here in the central of the school, and a stage, and all three of these spaces open onto one another, so that can turn into one large gathering space, with the wall between the cafeteria and the gymnasium being pulled back. We have an art and music centered in the central heart of the building, with close proximity to the stage. And then on the first floor, we have pre-K classrooms, kindergarten, and first grade. We really are trying to take advantage of the southern and northern light in this floor plan for the classrooms, which is much easier to control for nice daylighting within the classrooms. And we were able to do that with the site plan that Peter mentioned. Going up onto the second floor, we have the second and third grade classrooms. On the second floor, our library / media center, again centrally located right kind of on top of the administration wing, with a large central stair that's open to both the first and second floor right there for easy circulation. And then as you can see in the dark green, we have these special education classrooms that are kind of sprinkled throughout the building, trying to make it easier for teachers to pull kids out of classrooms, have an inclusion approach. And then we also have these very small breakout spaces. I guess I shouldn't call them very small. They're large enough for a meeting for 4 to 6 children and a teacher, and located between the classrooms, again, just making it easier for small group instruction. And we're also trying to use the hallway as part of that teaching atmosphere whenever possible, and Phil will show that a bit later in some of the previous examples. Finally, going up to the third floor, we have the 4th and 5th grade up here on the third floor. Again, special education in dark green sprinkled throughout, and another large art and music couple of classrooms up on that third floor. I'll quickly go through the building systems. Not my expertise, but I'll try and cover it. The technology, of course, will all be wireless. The entire building will be set up so that it's all wireless access. Security is a big part of the building in terms of intrusion detection and video surveillance, which we've been talking with the district about. Electrical, energy efficient LED lighting, which is both helpful for energy efficiency and also in terms of maintenance costs. It lasts a very long time. And prepped for future photovoltaic systems. It's not in the budget right now, it's not reimbursed by the MSBA, but we want to be sure to have that option open in the future if the district wants to go that way. Fire protection, fully sprinkled building with connections for the fire department. Plumbing is pretty straightforward. And the HVAC system, we have a direct outside air system. And what this does is only part of the school will be fully air conditioned, but the entire school will be have this dehumidification and a tempered air system. So even when it's not a fully air conditioned space, it is taking that humidity out of the air, making it much more pleasant to be in that building. Similarly, the spaces are all going to be carbon dioxide monitored so that the ventilation equipment can respond to the load inside of the building. Saves a lot of energy, saves upkeep on that equipment. And then we'll have a building management system taking care of all of that and integrating all of those systems. A floor plan here shows the HVAC zone plan. So the blue is full air conditioned. The green is that what I was describing as that tempered air that's dehumidified, and then the peach brown color is no air conditioning. So you can see we have a kind of series of classrooms going up from the first floor to the second floor to the third floor that are fully air conditioned for summer use. We also wanted the district encouraged us to fully insulate or fully air condition the art and music classrooms on the first floor, which can also be used as a large group instruction room. And of course, the administration wing and the library are fully air conditioned as well. Turn it back over to Phil.
Thank you. So I'm going to take you through just very quickly some examples of the types of spaces. These are photographs from finished schools that we've designed elsewhere in Massachusetts, but they represent the types of atmosphere that we're going to create. So this is a secure entry, so we're talking about the entry there and a welcoming lobby. Circulation in corridors, trying to incorporate children's artwork into the corridors. Very brightly lit classrooms, energized classrooms throughout the school on all 3 grade levels. We talked about the corridor being an active corridor, so these breakout rooms here would look something like this, where they actually are approximately 10 by 10 rooms that can actually open into the corridor and use the corridor for activities. Here is a corridor with marker board and seating built into the corridor itself, again, allowing that to become a very active space. The gymnasium itself, in this case, looking into the cafeteria, so there's an operable wall there that's been retracted. This is the same kind of configuration that we're proposing there. And looking from the other direction, standing on the stage, looking at the cafeteria back towards the gymnasium itself. So a lot of these ideas successfully used elsewhere and incorporated into your school. Library Media Center with activity zones within the school, music, art, occupational therapy, physical therapy for children as part of special education, exterior materials, the lower level being a brick masonry, and the upper levels a composite board that's a rain screen, very durable material. And rather than look at the words, I think better to look at the images here. So these first series of images, we're going to go clockwise and view the building. In some cases, the way the building will never be viewed from up high of a bird's eye. But here we are coming in as a student gets off the school bus and is led right into the main entrance over here, the library up here in typical classrooms, and the gymnasium there. As we move around the building, there's so here we're using grade to hide the building a little bit, to make it a little bit lower visually than it might otherwise be. There's about 9 feet of grade change between the 2 streets, and we're using that to help reduce the scale of the building itself. Working around to the gymnasium and service areas. And back to the main entrance. And so let me, oh, didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to get to the video. And for some
take
reason-
your arrow.
Yeah, my cursor's not showing up. Well, I'm going to show you a
Technology.
my apologies. I'll take you on a video tour. There we go. Oh. Technology's failing me, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Function of site.
I'm gonna show it to you here. sorry, the audience can't see this.
Can you see it, Julie?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, because I already have, so if you need him to turn it, it's fine.
No, I can see it fine, thanks.
It would take me a couple minutes to correct it on the screen, so rather than take up your time. So here we are going in the other direction, the main entrance to the school here. And as we back away, this is the gymnasium, the Salem playground in the foreground here. And after the meeting, I can take this out in the corridor. If anyone wants to see the video, I can show people video outside, so we don't. Going down Wellington Road.
Is that something we could put on the website?
Yes.
It'll be up on our Narragansett website.
Again, this piece over here, that is a reserve for the addition to the police station, so we've been respectful of that. And back to the main entrance. Now we're going to go back to a bird's eye view and rotate counterclockwise around the school again. So we have upcoming meetings. We're meeting with the building committee this Thursday, where we've been going through a cost estimating process, and we're going to be reviewing the costs with the building committee on Thursday, and at that point the numbers will be made public, and then Thursday we are also doing an open house. We've done 2 open houses so far. I think we've got at least 2 more to go. And a series of meetings. Tim, do you have the schedule in front of you of other activities where we have the submission to the MSBA?
We're going to be submitting the cost estimates to the MSBA on Thursday, as we present them to the school building committee. There is going to be an upcoming townwide forum if people have questions, or they can come and talk about ask questions about the project, to present the latest iterations of the design. But all this leading forward to a submission, or submission in early October, but then a final approval by the MSBA board in mid-November, and then local approval in the town meeting and the town ballot.
So we'll be back on the 28th of the month for a joint meeting, as Superintendent mentioned, with Board of Selectmen, School Building Committee, School Committee, and Advisory Board. And so at that point, the Building Committee is going to be looking to all parties to sign off for submission to the MSBA, heading towards town meeting and debt exclusion in November and December respectively. And with that, I think we're out of time.
Yeah, just about on the head here.
Any questions?
We're at 6:59. I'll take a quick question. If not, I would hope that people will go to the meeting on the 24th, which would be in the high school, in the auditorium, Dr.
And yes, and what we sent out to all the people that live around Templin Center, inviting them to please come. And then later in October, we'll have anybody can come. I mean, anybody can come to that one, but particularly we wanted people that live in the center, Templin Center area. We sent out like 250 letters inviting them to come. And then on October something, we'll have a further one to come so people can see.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. It was very
Apologies for
informative.
the technology, and again, anyone who does want to see this video, we can do that out in the hall.
All right, if
Thank you.
anybody wants to see that.
If you just help me take these pieces, because everything here, out. You can just discuss that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, after your hearing, I have a couple of things that we need to.
All right, being it's 7, a little after, we will open the public hearing for gravel permit for Mr. Glenn Radigan. Mr. Radigan, you here?
Yes, I am.
Now, this is, okay, obviously, this is a renewal and
Phase 2.
for phase,
Yep.
yeah. Could you tell us where that's located?
Sure, it's on 50 Brooks Village Road behind my residence. I have a current plan, several copies for you to look at.
Glenn, can
Yes.
you just, I'm sorry, don't we have to have a vote to open the hearing? Do we have to?
I thought I could declare it.
Oh, I don't know, I'm asking so that we don't do it wrong.
You need a
Do we have
vote?
to have a vote to open the
Announce
hearing?
it or no?
Okay, good. I just wanna make sure.
Okay, all right. I'm familiar with, do you,
Okay.
take a quick look at that, you know?
You wouldn't have a copy? Phase 2 will be back here. Phase 1 is just about completed, except for the area next to Phase 2, we need to store materials because of the condensed area in site. The stormwater management plan has been passed and accepted by the planning board. This is the whole plan with all the configurations, on-site water dispersal, showing, we had to create a containment area. Over in this area, was it? Right here. A small retention pond to collect the water, which, really doesn't work in gravel, just goes straight down. So, basically what we're looking at is to finish up this hilly area here and create like a basin after, to slope it. And that will be finished. So we've been doing this since, 2008.
2008.
2008.
You got a previous permit, was it for how many years or?
Well, each permit lasts for 3 years, but back in 2010, a land use legislative act was passed, where the governor signed for 2 more years. Any land use permit that was currently active didn't need to be redone through the town, and then they did it again 2 years ago. So actually, 2015, the permit is expired.
Okay.
So at the end of this month, the permit expires.
Bob or Holly, could you tell us the term? How long does this permit run for? When will it expire?
This will run for 3 years through September 14th, 2018.
Okay.
And I did check with the planning board, and they said that he's in full compliance. I checked the building inspector, he said there's no issues as well, and we did notify all the abutters, and everything's been in paper.
All right. Anything else we need to know before we open it up to?
No,
All right.
that's it.
Any member of the board have any questions for Mr. Radigan?
This is a permit for,
Phase 2.
of what? I mean, this project, this doesn't look familiar to
This
me,
is phase 1,
right?
which is an house.
Village Road.
Okay,
Okay, this is the access road off of Brooks Village Road. It's gated here. And now we're working on this part. We started here, and we'll take this banking out, push it back.
okay, so is this like a commercial gravel pit or anything like that? Or is it just-
Well, it's a local contractor, he just in and out of there when he needs material. It's not an everyday thing, you know, some days, some weeks he's in there, and he's not, you know. Unless he needs the material, he's not gonna be there.
Okay, so you're actually just selling the material to this guy then?
Yeah, he's got a little screener there, he screens some of it, brings some stone and grades, I mean,
Yeah, okay.
all little operations, you know. Homeowner needs a driveway filled, or, you know, nothing commercial, we got 50 trucks a day going out now.
Yeah.
It's just him, and maybe another contractor, he needs to come in for some fill, and that's it.
Mhm.
Julie, do you have any questions?
I don't, I've seen this.
Kirk, you wanna, just chair of the planning board, you got anything you wanna add?
No, he's fine, he's in little compliance.
All right. Chief Bennett, you're okay with this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chase?
Yes.
All right. Okay, I asked if anybody out here wants to speak in favor. Is there anybody here who's opposed? Not seeing anybody. Any further questions or comments from anybody here? If not, do we have a motion to approve? Okay, close the hearing. Okay. If there's no other discussion, I will declare the public hearing closed. And at 7:06, that was quick, and we have a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve the permit for phase 2.
Second.
Second. Moved and seconded to approve the permit. Any other discussion? Hearing none? Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. That vote is unanimous.
Thank you.
We're done. Thank you, Mr. Atkins, for coming in. All right, we'll go back to the town administrator report. Bob?
First item that I have, Mr. Chairman, is something I'm sure that the superintendent is also interested in, requesting the board to schedule a special town meeting for the fall, to schedule an election, and also to determine time to open the warrant. There's been some discussion of the best dates to be consistent with the requirements of the school department for their project. I would recommend, and also Carol Harris, our town clerk, recommends November 9th as the date for a special town meeting. The warrant should be opened no later than October 5th, or you could decide tonight when to open the warrant. The last day to post the warrant would be October the 26th. And then I'm recommending, and as does the town clerk, that we schedule a special election on December the 8th. The date and the wording of the article would need to be approved by the selectmen. And we'd have to provide that by the 2nd of November. The clerk would conduct the usual voter registration. Last day to register to vote for that would be November the 18th. And the last date to post the warrant for the special election would be November the 30th. So to boil it down, the request is to schedule a special town meeting for November the 9th, to schedule a special election for December the 8th, and to determine when to open the warrant. But keeping in mind that the warrant must be opened by the 5th of October in order to meet the schedule.
The warrant for the town meeting
For the special town meeting,
has
yes.
to be opened by the
It would have to be opened by the 5th of October, or you could open it tonight.
We wouldn't be
October.
meeting on the
Pardon?
5th.
That seems like a long way off if we're having the meeting on December. Oh, wait a minute, you're talking about the town meeting.
Right.
Yes, I'm sorry, town meeting.
Okay. I got confused.
Okay.
Well,
Dr.
if
Hammond
you
might
want
have-
to open, depending when, I don't know when your next meeting is, but you'd have to open the warrant on it before October 5th.
Right. Our town bylaw is the warrant has to be open for 14 days. So,
Then you have to close it, and then you've got
Posting requirement as well.
14 days before the town meeting. So these are, I talked with the town clerk to make sure all these days meet what the requirements are.
Well, if we don't meet on October 5th, we don't meet until the 12th, then we meet again on the 28th, where we're gonna have a joint meeting with everyone, so,
no, the 28th meeting is in September, right?
right, that's when we're meeting with, so it still would be before the 5th, or we just,
Right.
is there a problem with opening it today? I mean, just to open it? I mean, why couldn't we just do that and be done with that part of it? I'm asking.
Well, the posting, the ending date would be October 26th. So you could open it up on the 28th of September and close
We'd
it on
still be all
October.
right? Okay, so
26th.
Well,
we could
can-
wait.
We can vote to open it as of a certain date, we don't, it doesn't have
Okay.
to be open tonight.
Do you want a motion?
Yeah, we may as well get it out of the way, so.
Okay. And what date would you wanna open it for? The 5th, the 28th, the?
I have no problem opening it tonight.
Yeah, it just gives people more time
Yeah,
to
just we have,
submit
right,
citizen
right?
petitions, yeah, I mean, it's.
You're required
And
to,
the
you
departments.
can have any amount.
Any amount of time, right? We make,
Right.
so,
Just open it tonight and be done with it.
But it's going to have to be closed 2 weeks prior to the meeting so we can post.
so today we just vote to open it, right? I make a motion that we vote to open the warrant, today, September 14th, 2015.
Second.
Why don't we, in all in one motion, why don't we open it and have a closing date too?
Oh, I thought you had to do that separately, so the
There you go.
closing date would have to be when, Bob?
Minimally, the last day post the warrant would be the 26th.
We don't
So
wanna
I'd like,
post it that day,
we'd
though.
like to have a little
Yeah.
time to
Well, it's
make
the
sure
optimal
that
date.
the warrant is in good order before. So if,
Well, you have to do two, you have to open the warrant, you close it, then you put it together, then you gotta post the warrant
Right.
14 days before the
Right.
town meeting.
Right.
so you're in compliance, if you open the warrant tonight, you're in compliance by the 28th. I would recommend that, let's say, keep the warrant open.
Can we close it at a different meeting?
Well,
You
you
have
can
to-
decide when to close it right
Okay.
now, open and close.
Pick a date.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
let's just leave a little time from when we close the warrant till we have to post it,
Right,
because, with the article that's going in, the school, whatever, town council's gonna need some time
right.
to look at this.
So if you close the warrant, let's say on the 19th of October, that would, and I would have it all together and
Well,
off
that
to,
sounds-
off to the
Yeah,
town
that
council.
sounds
That would
reasonable.
give him a week at least to
Yeah.
review it.
So you need me to amend my motion?
We need to include the date of the meeting.
I would just, and to close the warrant on October 19th, so open it today, September 14th, 2015, and close it October 19th.
No, that's not enough time.
What's not enough
You
time?
need 14, you have to do two things. You open the warrant, you close it, then you have to post the warrant
Right,
14 days.
Before November, yeah, so we
It has to
can't
be
do
Well,
closed for
when's-
14
when's the
days
town
before
meeting?
you post it.
November 9th.
9th.
November 9th,
Ninth.
okay. All
So
right,
the
back it
9th.
up to
26th.
No,
the
To the-
13th.
I'd recommend October 5th, close it October 5th.
thank you.
Gives you plenty, then you've got to post it before, you've got to post it by, I think, if I'm counting correctly here, by October 26th.
It's 2 weeks.
So if you close it October 5th, that gives you plenty of time.
Be open. Okay, I suck back all those motions.
And Bob, do you
Well,
have
I didn't hear a second, so you can just withdraw it and,
I withdraw my motion. Okay, so, I make a motion to open the warrant tonight, September 14th, 2015, and to close it on October 5th, 2015.
I second that motion.
Thank you.
all right.
You need
Just
to,
so
you need
we're
to state
clear.
a time,
We're,
I need to what?
you need to state a time that the warrant is closing, like noon time on the date
Noon
or whatever.
on October 5th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need the date of the meeting in there too, don't we? We don't.
now,
I knew we should write all
We
this
should-
out.
And you're
It is
opening and
written out,
closing
right
a warrant for the meeting on November the 9th.
Yeah.
that was my question.
So that should be part of the motion.
Then if we take a look at while you had it, that the posting date would need to be by October 19th. Post it,
Right.
okay? That gives you plenty of time, that gives you well ahead to the 9th. So from the 5th to the 19th, you have time to get the warrant in order.
And then what do I have to, for a meeting?
For a meeting on the 9th of November, a special town meeting on the 9th of November.
Do I have to put posting date in there?
Say that again, please.
Do I have to have a posting date in the motion?
No.
No.
Okay, so I would draw that out of motion too. I make a motion to open the warrant tonight, September 14th, 2015, to close the warrant October 5th at noon, 2015, for a special town meeting for November 9th, 2015. Was that right?
That sounds
Hey,
reasonable.
Julie?
I'm seconding that.
Okay, all right, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any other discussion? Are we all on board as to what we're
Just
doing
one
here?
comment, should we put a time for the meeting?
At
just so
noon.
it's- Just so it's there,
For time-
7,
For the meeting for what?
for the special town meating, just so all the details are there.
November
Is that
9th.
usually 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
At 7 PM.
7 o'clock at Narragansett Middle School Auditorium.
So for a meeting on, take back that second, on November 9th at 7 PM at the Narragansett Middle School Auditorium. Did that work? Okay.
All right, now we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Diane?
Yes?
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
And I will vote yes, that's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, could I just, a couple of things. One is then you would have the, do you have a selectmen's meeting like on the 19th? When do you have when's your next meeting?
The second and fourth Monday,
The 12th of October,
which is a
The next
holiday.
meeting is the 28th.
of, right,
No,
now.
after
Actually,
October.
October's gonna be the 14th because of the holiday,
Right.
we need to push
It'll be
it.
the 14th. Also, you have to schedule the election for the December, recommended December 8th date. With another motion.
Well, it depends, another meeting you could do if you wanted to, then you could vote to schedule the special election, or you could wait till your next meeting, you don't have to do that right now. The town meeting is the one that you need to get set, so you could wait on that. My only other point was that you gotta post the warrant, so, you have to have a meeting, I think, to post the warrant, correct?
No,
Okay.
they have to sign it.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
all.
then you have to post it by the 19th.
Yeah, the posting is done out of the Holly to do
So
that
then, just by
It
holiday,
always
you have
gets
to,
done.
by the 19th.
timely, so.
I would hold off a little bit until you wanna vote the special election, next meeting, we can do that. The town meeting's the most important one. And if that's okay, Mr. Chairman, the other thing, under the presentation, we have to with the, which I think you've seen it with School Building Authority, is they have, it's been agreed to going the building will be built for 580 students. We have to have a certification that we agree to that, which has been the number that's been going all along. So you need to have a vote to authorize the chairman to sign the design enrollment certification. He serves as your chief executive officer. That was voted, this was voted at the building committee, you voted tonight, and then the school committee will vote it on Wednesday, and then signing will be Mr. Columbus, our chairman or vice chairman will sign school committee, and then I sign as superintendent of schools. So we would need a vote that you agree to the MSBA design enrollment certification of 580 students.
All right, that is included in this letter to Dr. Hammond from MSBA dated August 27th.
And that's there, there's no change here, that's what you have to agree to. And the 580 is what I understand is the number that's been all along, so there's no difference. And it's a K5. Pre-K5, actually pre-K5.
All right, any other questions questions of Dr. Hammond? If not, could we have a motion to approve the design certification for 580 students and authorize me to sign on the board's behalf?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I will vote yes. The vote is unanimous.
I'll be by to find you, Mr. Columbus, to sign in the next day.
You know where to find me,
I
Doc.
know where you live. I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank the board for all the assistance as we're going along with this. This is a very important time for the town of Templeton as we're going down the line for the school. So appreciate all the support and the dates and stuff. And I want to say, Holly, thank you. We've been coordinating back and forth with all the dates and stuff. We will have to work up the motion for the town meeting, which we'll work up very quickly. The MSBA gives us what the motion has to be, the article and the motion, and I'll work with Bob and Holly to get that correctly, and then we have to send that in to them to make sure they approve that. So we'll be working on that really quick. And then just so everybody knows, for the debt, on the debt exclusion, it's just going to read to exclude the amount of money that's going to be borrowed for that. There's no number put on that. That's already decided at town meeting. And that, and town meeting's motion will probably say it'll be, it takes a 2/3 vote because it's debt, and it would be subject to MSBA signing off on the 18th, and then the vote as well that takes place in December. Okay? Thank
All right.
you. I'm done.
Thank you.
I gotta go to another meeting. See you later.
All right.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Town administrator report, Bob?
Okay. We did have a meeting this afternoon with Dr. Hammond and Anne Marie Geister about MSBA reimbursements. That was a problem area for the first $500,000 that was borrowed for design of the school. And the town authorized another $500,000 to continue the schematic and design process. And rather than issue a bond, which we did the first time, we are going to short-term any money that's needed and apply monthly for reimbursements. As was pointed out, the town will get 62.84% of any money spent reimbursed there, as long as it's eligible expenses. So we think that this is be a better process, and we will not have to go through a long period when the town spends money and doesn't get its reimbursement in a timely way. So we worked that out today. Anne Marie has been trained by MSBA to do the reimbursement process, and we are also going to be getting the training done for Kelly and for Kate at MSBA at their next training, I think in October. So we hope that problems related to that will have been resolved, and we'll get our money in on a regular basis. Next, we have signed a contract with the police union for 3 years. I am negotiating with the chief for extension of his contract. We will go through that in the executive session later on tonight. For those who may not be aware, the town clerk has relocated to town hall as of last week. And so we have all the major departments now, other than police, fire, and highway, now located in this building. The vault is completed, and the office is operating. This brings up the issue of number 4 Elm Street, the old building, which was used in the past, not only by the town clerk, but by the federal government as a post office, and also the building to the rear was used by the department, by the highway department at one point. There is no doubt that we have some soil contamination and environmental issues. What I would recommend to the board is that we seek community preservation funding. Already had a discussion with the chair of the CPC to demolish the rear building, and I would recommend we demolish the other office as well and create a little best pocket park there with access to the outer river. I think there'd be a nice green area for those who work and live in that part of the town, and it is really the best possible use, given that we would have to spend a considerable amount of money to do cleanup of the soil there. So we are allowed to demolish and plant grass and make a small park there. We'd have to put up some stockade fencing to separate our parcel from the nearby business. But other than that, I think, and other than clearing some brush down along the river, we could make something very attractive for the town there. Funded, we don't have the money ourselves, but it will be funded by community preservation funds, and it's an appropriate use for community preservation money. I didn't make any commitments on this. I'll wait for the board to make a commitment, and then if you're agreeable, we'll send a letter to the Community Preservation Committee and ask them to provide funds. The building is alarmed, which goes directly to the police department. We did turn off the electricity, but I spoke with Mr. Driscoll today. The electricity will be turned back on. The building will be alarmed because now it's going to be empty, and at least until we can take action on demolition, I think the obvious problems there, I think are going to require us to continue electrical service and to continue arming the alarm system.
Can I make some comments on that?
Sure.
Sorry, I can't talk with that in. So, I don't remember, I think you sent us an email about that. I think that the building should not stand for long. A, we're gonna have to pay bills, and B, it's gonna become a possible free-for-all for people who should not be there. My other thing is I'm all in favor. Obviously, I wanna do parks and all of that stuff, but I have a concern about having access to the river, for our liability, drowning. I don't know who would cover that if something happened. To create a park there and maybe not have access to the river is probably where I'm gonna come from.
Well, I think
The
what
liability.
we should do is
Maybe we
open
can
Orange
do-
and look at Riverfront Park and what they did there.
Really? Okay.
Also, if I can get a legal opinion from town council
Thank
on this,
you.
but if a municipal park department owns property, there is very limited liability. It's not the normal liability that actually another municipal department would have. Parks are a special case, and so if someone were to
Be hurt.
go down there and, slip in the river and drown, the liability would not be there for the town at this point. So, obviously, parks are places where people play, and the state has wisely understood that there's a lot of potential for injury, and they've given the town legal protection there, so.
Mr. Chase,
To add to that, I would just recommend that the town, if they turn it into a park, have within this project, put a 4-foot chain link fence that would allow people to enjoy the river, but would stop anybody from falling into the river.
well, I think we're talking off the cuff here. I think there's a lot of thinking that has to go into this. Although I will say, insurance companies don't look favorably upon vacant buildings.
I
So
agree,
think- I
that's
think
why
there's-
that decision should be made
I
at
think
least
that
now.
we need to get
and
that
not-
thing down
Sure.
as quick as possible.
If you're agreeable to this course of action, Holly and I have already talked about getting a bid out there, see what the cost would be for demolition and disposal of the debris. And we would ask for CPC funds to support the removal of the blacktop, the driveway that goes down, and then loaming and seeding.
Yeah, I'm getting us to see what
Mr. Radigan?
Is there still a question on who owns the building? Does the town
No.
own it?
No.
No?
There was,
There was, I remember.
but it's been resolved. The federal government did convey that building to the town. We have the deed.
So, can I just ask one thing, sorry, about getting a bid, so we can't remove the building on our own?
We can.
Oh, so,
It's ours.
oh,
It's the
okay.
town's building, so. Well, I see no impediments to the course of action we've discussed here. If I didn't want to just authorize it, I think the board needs to authorize it.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we demolish 4 Elm Street.
I second that.
Okay, all right, we will vote on that motion, but there's still an awful lot of stuff that has to be done here.
First thing, we'll get bids,
Yeah.
keep you apprised of the bids. If in fact the initial bidding is above 25,000, we have to do an advertised bid.
Right.
So,
All right, so we have a motion to authorize the